What's good? I just want to give everyone a little time to get up in here. About 1 minute. 1 minute, I'll give some time for some people to join the live. Just getting off the JOB. Just released from one prison, now going into the greater confinement. I'll let y'all figure out what that means. But as you guys can see from the title, truck driving is what I do, but it's not who I am. That's why the name of my channel is I Am. But in this truck driving, you'll meet a lot of individuals that will say, I'm a truck driver. I am a truck driver. That's what they would say. And even on YouTube, you will look at truck driving videos and you will see individuals saying, I am a truck driver. I would have to disagree. Are you a truck driver or are you a person, a human being? Or if you are truly a truck driver, then I guess that truck driving is all you do. Your whole life is consumed with just being a truck driver, meaning that when you wake up, you're truck driving, right? Even when you're out of the truck, you're thinking about truck driving. When you're in a grocery store, you're shopping. Maybe you take a steering wheel with you so you can, you could be in a grocery store driving your cart like it's a truck. I don't know. But I think that you're much more than that, right? And I think that you should separate what you have to do to earn money in this capitalistic society from who you are. You should separate those things. Unless you're something like an artist. I think an artist, someone like, let's say a musician or a painter or someone that's like, what do they call them? Someone that like structures buildings or architecture or something like that. I think when you use the term artist, I think that you could possibly describe yourself as an artist because your mind and everything that encompasses you is you think in an artistic manner. It is a part of you. But that truck, it's just it's like saying, okay, you're driving a car I am a car driver. Because the truck is just a bigger car. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, a truck is a bigger car that you can haul stuff with, that you can haul heavy things with. Unlike a regular car, you can't haul heavy things with a regular car. I say all that to say, I have to realize that to, getting off of, well, let's start when I go in today, right? When I go into the job today, the job, they had basically taken the truck. It's their truck. It's not my truck. I don't own it. I'm just using it while I'm there. But they had taken the truck that I normally use, I guess, for maintenance. Now, they didn't tell me anything. They didn't tell me they were going to do it, and they don't have to. It's their property. It's their truck. I'm just an employee. I'm fully aware of that. Some of us don't operate like that, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But they took my truck. Stop. See, I'm saying it's my truck. They took their truck that I normally use to do maintenance on it. Now, it was a good thing that I took my stuff out of there, because I every night when I get off, I try to take my stuff out, like my speakers, my what else? My books that I bring with me, all my personal stuff that I bring with me. Even though I'm accustomed to using the truck every day, I'm always aware that at any moment they could just take their truck. And as far as my personal belongings, I just have to catch up with it late. If they're courteous enough to take them out, which usually they're not, and pass it on to the office or the dispatch, which usually they won't do, they'll just take my stuff with the truck, and wherever it's at, I'll just have to wait to get it back. But long story short, so they was like, I go in, they was like, oh yeah, your truck is, God damn it. Why I keep saying your truck? What's up? Dance, bro. I'm looking for my friend, Pastor Avery, whatever you say. I don't know what to talk about. What they said is the truck that you use, maintenance is being done on it, but we'll assign you a different truck. I said fine. I was cool with it. I already took my stuff out. But so I go about my day, normal day, and wasn't too busy today. Wasn't too busy, but when I get back to the yard, I guess the individual that normally uses a truck, he was waiting around. And body language is everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, body language is 80 to 90% of human communication. Only 10 to 5% is verbal. So you can read how someone's feeling without them even saying anything. So when I pull into the yard and I kind of see a guy just sitting outside of his car, his personal vehicle, like I said, oh, this must be the truck that he normally uses. And the truck didn't have in there. But I was thinking to myself, like, why is he? It seems like he's impatient with me. Like, you do realize we don't own none of these trucks. At any second, you, I, whoever, they can just take the truck from you. So you're sitting outside impatient, waiting on this truck that you don't own, like you own this truck. Like, I took your, and I can see that. I can see that in the body language. But this is the thing. The truck that I'm driving today, I didn't choose it. I went into the office and he was like, here, this is the truck you're going to use. In my mind, I'm hoping that they don't give me someone's truck a truck that someone normally uses, because I know how most individuals think in this industry. They think that they own the equipment that they're just using. So I said, in my mind, I'm just hoping, okay, hopefully this is a truck that no one uses, so it won't be that pressure, right? But to see this individual kind of like seeming like they're impatient, and like I had some control over it, I said, okay, this is yeah, this is it. This is what it is. And I realized at that moment that the way I think, the way I operate, I'm different. And part of it is because of some of my experiences that I went through. About 7 years ago, I was dealing with a lot of like personal issues, and I had like a mentor, like I called him like an uncle, and we would talk. I would console him all the time. It was a period when I was homeless. That's when I met him. He was actually out there where I parked my car to sleep, but he wasn't homeless. He was homeless by choice. He was a hustler. He was making money. But I guess he seen me as a young guy, and he's an older guy, an older black guy, and he see a young guy, and he's like, oh, hey, youngster, let me talk to you. You know what I'm saying? So at that point that I met him, we just carried on that relationship, even as, time progressed. And I looked at him as a mentor because he was intelligent. He traveled the world. He was very knowledgeable. He had wisdom. So I would confide in him just in different things, like if I was having, a girlfriend problem, or if I was trying to figure out like what I need to do next as far as like to make money or things like that. But he would also help me like in like spiritual things, right? So I was going through a lot of, mental things, like related to my upbringing, more so being raised in a single parent home. My father dying when I was raised by my father, and he dying when I was 17, and me having to just get out here and face this world on my own and figure it out. Immature, no guidance, no one to like guide me. And so I'm just out here knocking my head around trying to figure shit out on my own at 17. But a lot of that, like I was still dealing with that, like, anger, frustration. And he saw that from our conversations. And so he suggested meditation. But he didn't just suggest any type of meditation. He suggested a certain type of meditation called Vipassana, right? Because they have different types of meditations, right? They have meditation where you it's called guided, where you're listening to, maybe some sounds or whatever, some flutes and stuff like that. Then they got meditation where you're chanting. They got different types of meditation. This particular meditation was basically focusing on your breath and like feeling the sensation of your body, right? And so he sent me some videos on it and stuff like that, and sent me some links to I can Google and things like that. So at this time, I was traveling. I had started traveling. I got my passport, and this was a period in my life where I was just traveling, and so when he sent me the videos, and I'm doing my research, of course, most of these meditation practices come from the Far East, from, India and Eastern countries, right? So as I'm looking at these videos, I'm like, I want to do this. Like, I wanted to better myself, right? I wanted to, whatever I was willing to do, whatever it took to better myself. So prior to that, I'm watching Tony Robbins videos. I'm going to Tony Robbins seminars. I'm going to Les Brown seminars. I'm going to these motivational seminars and these self-help seminars. And it wasn't really like, it was doing something to motivate me, but it wasn't really like tackling those things that I was feeling inside. So I said, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the answer. But I'm the type of person, like, when I do something, I'm gonna go all in, right? So I was like, they want you to come. So to get to do the meditation, right, you have to go to this like a retreat. And it's like a 10-day retreat. So for 10 days, you're learning the meditation practice, the practice called Vipassana, right? And basically they had these retreats all over the world. They have them in the United States. They have them all over. So, but you have to be there for 10 days. Like, you have to, it's of course it's voluntary, but I said, you know what? I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go to the source. I'm gonna go to the Far East. That's where I'm gonna go. And so I started looking for these centers in the Far East. And it seemed like one of the main centers was in Nepal, a place called Nepal, which is where if you don't know where Nepal is, if you ever heard of the highest mountain in the world, is called Mount Everest. I think, yes, the highest mountain in the world. That's basically where Mount Everest is located, in that region. It's like by India. It's like by, I'm watching this, look at this crazy white boy. Gotta watch that shit, because there's a lot of these wild white boys running around shooting up shit right now, but that's another story. So I said, I'm gonna go to Nepal, because I want to, if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it 100%. I'm not gonna go. I want to be to where it's no excuses. Because if I would have went somewhere, and I'm from the Bay Area, right? So if I would have went somewhere, they have places in San Francisco. But if I would have went somewhere in San Francisco, I probably would have just, like, by the third day, because it's hard, and I'm gonna get into that. By the third day, I probably would have left. I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna catch the BART back home. But I wanted to give myself no escape, because, if I go to Nepal, okay, I'm buying a round trip ticket, but the round trip ticket is for the date or a day after that thing is supposed to end. So if I try to leave, what I'm gonna do? Spend $3,000 for no? So I'm kind of like placing myself in a position where I can't leave, right? And so I said, okay, I'm gonna go to this Nepal thing. And so I'm reading the instructions. They say it's gonna be cold. They telling you what you need to bring. You need to bring a sleeping blanket. You need to bring like thermals, like coat, because you're up in the Himalayas. You're up in the mountains, right? Well, you're not all the way up there, but you up there, right? And you need to bring like all these things that keep you warm. So, and I said, okay, I'll do that. I could do that. And so, book my flight, and I head to Nepal to learn about this meditation practice called Vipassana. And I'm like, okay, this I've already traveled a little bit, but I've traveled pretty much a good amount by that time. So I said, I'm used to this. I'm used to travel. So I get there. It was cool. I like it's a different vibe out there, and I checked myself into what is, I consider a nice hotel out there to prepare to go to where we would basically meet up. We all meet up, and then we'll catch a bus up into the Himalayas. And so we get there to the meeting spot, and they're like, okay, so everything that you own, you'll have to give up. So our cell phones, books, even notepads, we had to turn all that stuff over while we were there. You know, they lock us up, they'll lock it up for us, hold it for us in a secure place. But we had to turn over the only thing that we can have on us was our clothes that we brought and our sleeping bag. And it was like for 10 days, well, once we get there, because this is we're not there yet. We're at like the meeting place before we go. They're like, for 10 days, once we get up there, you guys can't talk. So once day one starts, no talking, no humming, no nothing for that whole 10 days. So you couldn't even talk to the people that you were sharing a room with, because you had to share a room with someone. You were supposed to be completely silent for that whole 10 days while you're meditating. And so it was rough, man. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys have sat for like, just try to anybody that comes across this video, that watches this stream, just try to sit for 10 minutes with nothing. There's no distractions, no nothing. Most people can't do it. It's hard. It's hard. We're so distracted nowadays. We're so distracted with these phones. We're so distracted with social media. We're so distracted with everything that's going on in the world. So for the average person to sit quiet, completely quiet for 10 minutes is hard, right? Try 20 minutes. For the average person, it's difficult. It's something that you have to work on, right? Now imagine this. We had to sit in a meditative stance, like whether it was a lotus position, whether it was bent knee on our knees. We had to sit in this big ass room with like 100 people. The men and the women are separated in different quarters, but 100 plus strangers, and we all sitting in this room meditating. The instructor is telling us what to do, you know, and after he tells us what to do, he's the only one that can talk. After he tells us what to do, then it's quiet, and we're sitting for 10 hours. 10 hours. Now we take breaks. They feed us, so we have our breakfast early. We start at like, they hit a bell. They would hit a bell every morning, and we will start like 4 or 5 in the morning. We go, you know, people who want to take their shower, they take their showers. Hopefully the water was cold. I mean hot, because sometimes the water was cold. Yeah, it was like that, man. And we'll go get our first meal. We stand in a line. We all stand like in a food line, get our meal. Like I said, completely silent. Nobody's talking. And from there, I think they give us like our first meditation, which is like the morning one is like 4 hours. And then we take a break, go to our room, whatever we want to do. We want to use the restroom. Then after that break, we have lunch. And then we go for another 6 hours until nighttime. And then after that night one, it's to bed. And we did that for 10 days straight. By the third day, a lot of people were dropping out. And I'm not gonna lie, like by the third day, I kind of got tempted. Like, I'm like, man, this shit too extreme, man. I'll go back into the city. I'll just go back into the town, and I'll just rent a hotel, you know, book another hotel until my flight comes. Like, because this stuff is like, I mean, you're sitting down. If you try to sit down, like anybody that's watching, meditate in a lotus position or on your knees. After a while, your legs are going to go numb. So the circulation in your legs are going to go numb. So imagine doing that for hours at a time. I remember it was one time. So we were meditating, and the leader asked us to come up. He was asking each of us to come up to the front, because the ones that led it, like the leaders of the meditation practice, are the ones that were in charge. They all sit in the front, and these guys been doing this for like 40 years, 50 years, so they used to sitting for 2 days straight. But they'll call us to the front and they talk to us like, very quiet, like say some words and whatnot, right? So I remember I got called to the front. It was my time. I got called to the front. I got up, this is after meditating for like 4 or 5 hours. I got up and the circulation in my legs was so gone that when I got up, I just fell over. I just fell flat on my face. And I had to sit there for like 10 minutes. I had to lay there for 10 minutes until the blood went back into my legs, because that's how long I was meditating. But so a lot of people were quitting by the third day, but I was like, and I came here for a reason. I came here to change. Like, I came here because I wanted to be a better person. And if this is what it takes for me to be a better person, I'm gonna go through with it. And so I went through with it, man. And I'll tell you, like, after 10 days of complete silence, 10 days of meditating, your mind is just so clear. I mean, I remember during that time I had the most vivid dreams, man. And I remember, like, I'm just, you're in your thoughts. I guess that's like when people go to prison and they in that cell, especially like when they're in the hole, all they got time to do is think. Now they can talk, you know what I'm saying? But imagine, like, you got time to, like, just reflect on life. Like, you don't get time to reflect on life when you live in a big city. You don't get time to reflect on life when you're constantly just moving, going, work, and from work, this, that, and the other. You don't get time to really sit and reflect on life. So for 10 days in silence and meditation, I got to really reflect on my life, man. And I had some of the most vivid dreams, and I remember, like, the dreams were feeling like lifelike. Like, dreams right now that I have, they feel silly, right? Most of us have like these silly ass dreams, right, that we don't remember. But imagine having dreams that feel like this is real, and like you looking at your life, you know what I'm saying? So I came back. Let me see where y'all at. Here we at. I came back from that, and I was like, the way I thought and the way I felt was like totally different, man. I felt like my mind was clear, and now I wasn't no saint when I came back. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, this meditation may turn me into this perfect person. And even they said it. So at the end of the 10 days, we all got to finally talk to each other. So the people that we were seeing every day, we got to talk to them like, hey, man. So I was the only black guy there, but it was like one other black guy. I was the only black guy out of all from the ghetto, from East Oakland, where I come from, right? I'm the only black guy there. It was one other brother there, but he was there for something else. Like, he was doing that program called Peace Corps. Look it up. It's like where you volunteer for this government agency called Peace Corps, and they send you to, like, all around the world to live like with a family. So this brother that was there, he had done that, and he was like, I think they gave him a break and he wanted to go and do some meditation. So he just found that, and that's why he was there. So literally, I was the only brother there that came from the hood, from East Oakland, to go thousands of miles away to meditate. That's how serious I was about, bettering myself. But as I said, the teachers of that thing, let us know, like, this is something that you have to do constantly. Like, you just can't, like, 10 days is just a start. There's people that come back every year. I mean, I think it was like one white guy from Europe that was like coming back like for the past 10 years. And these guys are like more advanced. So they were doing like different type of like their meditation practice was like kind of different. But 10 days is just the start. As you come back more, they'll turn it into 20 days. So they'll say, okay, Now you build it up where you can meditate for 20 days, for 30 days, for 60 days. I mean, so 10 days was just a start, but it is a start. So when I came back, they said, okay, keep up the practice, right? They told us to keep the practice up. You know, if you can meditate for an hour in the morning and an hour at night, you ain't got to do 10 hours a day. Because I know when you go, they knew that we coming from city life, or a lot of us are coming from these big cities in different countries, because there's people from all over the world there. So they know that most of us not going to have the time to sit for 10 hours a day, but at least do an hour a day, an hour at night, and hour early in the morning before you go to work or wherever you got to do, and an hour at night before you go to bed. I kept it up for about that first year. you know, I kept it up for about that first year. Then it went to like 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day. Then I kind of fell off. But one thing I do remember is the homies in the hood, the brothers and my bros in the hood, they was like, man, like, you so calm, bro. Like, you calm. Like, all this, like, it seems like you just, like, real calm. And it was true. Like, I had, since I started that meditation practice, I had a certain calmness to me. Like, when everybody's getting chaotic and stressing out and shit is going crazy, like, I'm kind of like level-headed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a certain calmness to me. And why am I saying all this? Because this is about, I'm not just a truck driver. A truck driving is what I do, but it's not who I am. Because when I get back and I realize we don't own none of this shit. None of this shit is ours. It's no reason to stress over something that you don't own and you don't control, right? There's a prayer, there's a word, there's a prayer that I think they use in AA and various other programs, but it says, higher power, or God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I can't change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And so when you have the wisdom to know the difference about things that you cannot control, it really takes an ease off your life and off your mind. A lot of things, the things that's going on in this economy, the things that's going on overseas, and a lot of the stuff we can't control. So for us to stress over it it's just taking years off your life. It's adding unnecessary stress. So when I see that person sitting at waiting, I understand we all under pressure to make money because we live in this capitalistic society. But my approach to it would be, well, as I'm sitting there, I say, hey, I don't own these trucks. I don't own nothing here. So whatever they decide to do, it's not in my control. You know, I just ask for them, hey, I'm coming to do this job. You know, I'll do the job. If we can cut off as much communication as possible, like to where I don't need these managers micromanaging me, like it's not necessary a lot of the times. Just, allow me to do the job. If you see that I'm not doing the job, of course, you have to do your job and reach out and figure out what's going on. But that's all I want. I kind of just want to be left alone, really. Not to the point where I'm not doing what I'm being paid. I'm there to be paid to do, but leave me alone and do my job. You tell me what to do, Everything is through the tablet. Everything is electronic. I know what I need to do, and allow me to do it. But I say this though, I'm also not a just a driver, because what I notice in this industry is it's a lot of emotionalism. It's a lot of irrationalism in the behavior of the drivers, and I'm just not in that mind frame. So when they're reacting the way they're reacting, like, and it's a majority of them that reacts that way. It's a majority of them that reacts in that manner. I'm just not. I'm not that, like, I'm different. I'm different. And I'm not like to say this like, oh, I'm this special guy, but like I have to be I have to be in the wrong industry, because the way you react, I don't react that way. Y'all driving on the road, y'all stressed out, y'all chasing the dollar. That's not how I operate. I know that I have to pay these bills, but I also know that you driving down the road going 20, 30 miles past the speed limit, you're not getting that much more money than I'm getting. Even if you feel like you are, you're really not. Okay, you get a $100 or whatever. Well, the cost of living is going up also, and the wages is not going up with that extra $100 that you earn. Also, you have to pay taxes. So the more you make, the more they take. Okay? Yeah, you may get some of it back at the end of the year, but the more you make, the more Uncle Sam takes. And you're putting yourself at risk. Is it worth it? I always say that, because at the end of the day, you do something crazy, you crash, you left on your own, buddy. These companies know they can just replace you. They know that. They know almost every week or every day there's a new driver getting out of there's a new person getting out of truck driving school. There's a new person getting a CDL. Right? So it's not like none of us is irreplaceable. Right? We're not heart surgeons. We're not brain surgeons, where these individuals went to school for 13 plus years, and not even that they had to have a certain type of hands. Like, their hands, like, you can go to school for 13 years, let's say, like, you a heart surgeon or a brain surgeon or one of those type of surgeons. If your hands shake, you can't do it. They disqualify you. If you have any type of shake, like nervous, like this in your hand, that disqualifies you. So those type of individuals are truly irreplaceable, because not everybody, it's not just a bunch of surgeons walking around. You know what I'm saying? And the type of money it takes to become that. Hundreds and thousands of dollars that you have to invest in your education. So most of us went to a truck driving school, and we had some type of government program pay $2,000, $3,000 for it, and all we had to do is not make mistakes and pass a driving test. So we're replaceable, and we can see that, right? We can see now. We can see if you are an American-born person, you can see that these companies are willing to hire people that may not even, I ain't gonna go there, but we know what's up. May not even be legal here. Let's just say that. But so I say all that to say is, like, it's not worth it. And then you putting stress on yourself. You putting. I remember this morning. I went to the. It's crazy, man. I was at the yard, the rail yard, where the rail containers are, and a lot of different trucking companies come in there, and this one guy, right? I'm looking for the container that I have to pick up. I'm looking for it, right? Because sure, they have an app, and the app will tell you exactly where the container is at, but sometimes it won't be there. Sometimes the yard porter may have moved it over here. So, I'm not trying to rush, so I don't pass it up, because if you're driving fast, you might pass it up. So I'm kind of driving at a cool speed, and I'm looking for the container, and I said I spotted it. Now, right when I spot it, I'm horizontal to it, so I ain't set it up vertical to where I can back into it yet. But right when I start to set up to back up, it was a driver right there. He like cut right in front of me, and I'm looking at dude. I just sit there and look at him like, really? Like, bro, you in that much of a goddamn rush? I didn't say anything. I'm just sitting there looking at this guy like this, and he cut right. He's trying to back in. He's trying to back into the container that's right next to me. And I'm just sitting there looking, and he's like, and finally, he gets out of his truck and kind of like start to walk up to me, and I'm just looking like, bro, I'm trying to back in right here. Like it's literally going to take me like 10 seconds. But this guy, after I said that to him, he's like, okay, he pulled up and allowed me to back into the container that I just found. Why, after I did that, this guy literally like jetted over there, jumped out his truck, ran and hooked up. I'm like, bro, what do you think you about to get any much more money by doing all that shit? I don't understand the rationale behind it. Because to me, he's like, bro, you save what? You'll save 5 minutes, 10 minutes? What is that? Is that going to equate to $1,000? More than likely not. More than likely not. But what could possibly happen is your ass can get in an accident. Your ass can get pulled over for speeding. So it's like, damn, man. Like, I sit back, and when I see things like that, I have to say I'm not like these guys. And the majority, 99.9% of them are like that. And I have to say, yeah, maybe I'm in the wrong industry, because I can't operate like that. And you get mad at me because I don't operate like that. Because I won't break the speed limit, because I'm not running around with my chick like a chicken with his head cut off. It just makes me realize that, I realize that I'm doing what I have to do to survive. And that's all it is. Like, I'm just doing what I have to do to survive. I'm trying to be peaceful. I'm trying to be calm. I'm not trying to cause any problems. Like, even when I see this guy waiting for the tractor that he uses, like, I wanted to talk to the guy. I remember it was two guys waiting. It was another guy waiting on another tractor. And I'm like, I wanted to talk to the guy. And explain to him, like, bro, I'm not responsible for you waiting or your the truck that you use being taken. Like, I can't just go and just grab a truck and say I'm taking this truck like it's mine. They assigned me this truck. The managers assigned me the truck, and that's why I'm using it. I wanted to say that to him, but like I said, body language is about 90 to 95% communication. So it looked like he didn't even want an explanation from me. Like, he looked like, you're at fault, and that's it. And truth be told, let's truth be told, I could have had the tractor longer. There was another load that was like hella far away, and it would have had me out to about, given the traffic and all that stuff, I probably wouldn't have got back to that yard to about 8 o'clock. So truth be told, I'm back early because I said, hey, I don't want that load. You know, I'm kind of tired, and that's far away. It's about 100 miles away, and 100 miles in the traffic. I said, hey, could you just take that load off of me? So I'm back because I didn't want to take that load. But what would have happened if I didn't take that? If I took that load, they probably would just gave you another tractor. But it just makes me realize, man, that, you know what I'm saying, I'm not a truck driver. Truck driving is just what I do. I'm more than that. And a lot of us, with a few exceptions, like if you have somebody that's like a humanitarian, that's who they are. If you have somebody that's like a maybe a spiritual teacher or a motivational teacher, that's who they are. Or like I said, an artist, that encapsulates who they are, right? But most of the jobs that we do, it's just what we do. It's not who we are. You know, if you're a garbage man, if you're a mailman, you're not a mailman. A mailman is what you do. You work at fast food restaurant, a cook. It's just what you do. It's not who you are. You know, and you know, I said, well, I'm like, maybe I should be in a different industry. Like maybe I should be like a spiritual teacher, or maybe like some type of like meditation, leader or whatever, because it's more in line. Because you can be in a career, you could be in a job that's more in line with who you are. It may not be all that you are, but it's more in line with who you are. Like, let's say, for instance, you're a teacher. If you're a teacher, you like to teach, right? A natural teacher, oftentimes, you will find this person liking to share information just with people. And so when they become a teacher, it's in line with who they already are, as opposed to somebody that's just doing it for money. It's a total difference, right? All of us have been to, public high school or public school, we had experiences with teachers that were very impactful in our life, and we remember them to this day. And then we have teachers that, damn, I hated that person, because there was a difference in a teacher that was doing it for the money and the teacher that was doing it for who they were, that is a part of them, that they're a natural teacher and they're only doing what they already are and just happen to be getting paid for it. So with that being said, I got to get to this gym because that's who I am. I like to work out. Come join me. Peace.